Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. It's episode 41 of Life Strategies with Nat for the Entrepreneurial Woman. And I'm excited because today we have a guest expert, a really good friend of mine, Elli Baldwin. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to wait until everything gets set. How are you guys doing? How was the weekend? I was in Nice. I don't know if anyone saw that, but I was at one of the Young Living conferences to celebrate France, and it was amazing to hear from so many great speakers of the history of the lavender farm there, going like 30 years. Hi!
It worked. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear
Yes.
you just great.
I am
I
so
might,
technically challenged that the fact that I just tried to do that and that actually worked is like the best thing ever.
oh my God, I know
Literally.
it's always like it's always this like nervous time when you're starting the live and you're like, is it gonna work? Am I gonna be
Yeah.
having any? But yeah, no, it's all good. I'm excited you're
Just
here.
hit play. Just hit start, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that
Oh my
totally.
God. I was
Well,
telling everyone
hi.
about, well, hi. I was telling everyone about that I was in Nice about at the
Yes.
conference and learning about lavender and like the farm itself, one of the Young Living farms. Yeah, it's got it diffusing right now. But it was
Yeah, there you
amazing
go.
to
I love it too.
hear. It was amazing to hear the story, how it started almost like 30 years ago. And
Yeah.
it's just wild because you think about how, like, I remember never used to like the scent of lavender.
Right.
And I learned so much about even like the seed to seal process and the difference between lavender and lavandin, which is totally
Right.
different.
And
Anyway, that was a
90% of the
sidebar, but
lavender you get in the store, right, if you over the counter is lavender, you find out, not actually lavender, which also causes those scent differences. But I mean, speaking of entrepreneurs, right, like Gary Young, Young Living, and just that story of starting
yeah.
and fighting through so many things. So yeah, it's an amazing story for sure.
It's wild.
I hear that.
Anyway,
I hear that.
I wanted to talk to you because for
Yeah.
those of you that don't know, Ellie was really crucial in my sort of discovery and my interest in essential oils. After I learned about it, my curiosity was piqued when I did my wellness coaching. And Ellie and I know each other through my sister's friend, actually. So
Yeah, Brienne,
it's just
shout out to
awesome.
Brienne if Brienne sees this. She's also an
Ow,
entrepreneur, so it was like the entrepreneur connection of all of the things,
ow!
right? Always, we stick together.
Exactly. So, for those of people that don't know you, why don't you
Yes.
share a little bit about you?
That's always like the hardest question, right? People are like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Do you have 3 days?" Like, I'm unsure of where to start this. So it's funny when you even asked for my bio, I was like, I don't know. Can I just say I wear a lot of hats? Like, I'm like
I love
wearing all of
that.
the hats. Well, first and foremost, I am a wife and a mom. I've been married for coming up on 10 years to my husband, Mark. It'll be 10 years in April. Haven't killed each other yet. And I also have two awesome kids. I have a almost 7-year-old. Jace will be 7 on Friday, and Josie is 4, going on 14. So there's a lot going on with that. I'm also an entrepreneur. So I've got a couple different businesses, one of which is a company that Mark and I are owners and operators of called Sunways Assisted Living Concierge. And we are a referral service and advocate for seniors in our area to help them find housing, resources, services, all of the things our seniors and their families need. And I'm also a individual distributor and educator about essential oils and holistic practices, really, to help people improve their health and wellness, because that's something in my journey, not just as an entrepreneur, but also just as a human on earth, as a wife and as a mom, and doing all of these things. Essential oils have supported me so much physically, emotionally, and also financially as another income stream too, which we all know is very important as an entrepreneur. And so I've become really, really passionate about talking about that. So I'm involved in some other things too. You know, I'm involved in a lot of kind of like nonprofit fundraising here locally in my area. I'm from Sarasota, Florida. I guess I should have probably said that. Um, I live in Sarasota. So I am always doing a lot of things. If you follow the personality tests, I'm a red blue. And I'm also an Enneagram 7, wing 8, which, if you know not what any of that means, it just means that I'm doing all of the things all of the time and having fun doing it. The fun aspect of it is also very important to my survival. So that's me.
That's awesome. I have to do that Enneagram one, but I know that
You have to.
I'm
Everybody who
yellow.
is watching this I'm telling you, it adds so much insight into who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, and also just how you deal with people, your tendencies. Like, it is shed so much light. Things I didn't even know I did. I'm like, oh crap, that's why I do that. Like, it really helps you identify it and work on it, and also notice your strengths too, so that you can shine more light on that. So it's a great tool.
We'll put those tools in the comments below. But
Yes, for
just want
sure.
to say, hey Sakshi, hey Ollie, hey Christian, welcome, welcome. So I think what's on everyone's mind is like, how can essential oils help you in your entrepreneurial journey? I mean, I always speak to how they've helped me, and
Yep.
in terms of like emotional support, you kind of touched on it, but if you really dig deep into being an entrepreneur and all the stuff that comes with it, and this like roller coaster of like, it's
Yes.
good, it's bad, it's great, it's over. Like, I'm
Horrific. I'm
quitting. Like,
dead.
what's
I'm
happening?
actually dead. Yeah. Uh-huh. Got all that. Got all
Like,
that.
what? I guess how could you maybe summarize it, or just educate everybody on how they can help you in your entrepreneurial journey and your wellness journey, because it's all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that you and I have talked about quite a bit, but the word that just keeps on like resonating with that is just empowerment. It empowers you, right? And when I say empowering, just the definition in general of empower is to giving someone the authority or power to do something. And I think that, we can all agree that we feel the safest, the happiest, the most successful when we feel in control and when we're empowered to make our own choices. That's probably 90% of the reason why any of us are even entrepreneurs. Like, we felt like we wanted to be in control and we knew what we were doing better than anybody else that was doing it. So we're going to do it ourselves, right? It's just like a personality trait of being an entrepreneur, I feel like. So I have used them a ton for the physical and the emotional support for myself. And then that trickles also to the physical and emotional support of those around me, because especially being a woman entrepreneur, we are naturally caregivers for someone, maybe our neighbor, maybe our dog or cat, maybe our kids, maybe our parents, whatever. And so us being able to use those tools to empower the people around us to really help their physical and emotional well-being in turn helps us. Like, for example, if my kids are sick, that's going to hurt my productivity. I mean, as much as I don't want them sick in general, because I'm not like an evil person. But if I'm home having to take care of them sick or taking them to doctors or really dealing with all of that, it's creating stress, distractions, and just time away that I should be doing other things. And so they can be used for a lot of that. And also just like that proactive piece of it. I think that also being an entrepreneur or anybody that's successful, being proactive versus reactive is so important, whether you're like trying to avoid pitfalls in your business and trends in your business, or just your own emotional cycles. I forget who you had on here a couple of weeks ago about like the moon cycles, right? I forget what her name was, but
Yeah.
that was amazing. But she was talking about really using that as a tool to be proactive, of being able to anticipate these different trends. And so when you have tools like essential oils to then add into that, where you can be using them to be proactive and anticipate, like, hey, I'm going into this situation. This always makes me stressed, or this always wears me out, or usually when I'm flying for business, I get sick. So I'm going to proactively support myself so that I'm not dealing with that versus like getting sick and having to be reactive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like that empowerment piece has definitely helped a ton.
Awesome. And I think you touched on something is that, you know, when you feel empowered, when you feel like you're in your peak state, that like unstoppable, confident, you know, you can handle absolutely anything that comes your way. And let's face it, I mean, like as entrepreneurs especially, we don't know what we're doing more than half the time, but we gotta come with it, and we gotta come with all of it regardless. It's that like certainty, it's that confidence. And I know like essential oils like Valor has certainly helped me before I go into like
Yes.
speaking events. I know we talked about it before when I was like, oh my God, what is it? And then I guess that's a good lead into my next question, which is like, how do they work? Like, how can these oils work in such a way that they can help us emotionally?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess, I mean, I can go a lot of different ways with that. I mean, the actual like basics, and I won't get too sciencey on you, but the reason why essential oils work the way that they work, being from nature, is that their molecules are so small that they can break the blood-brain barrier, meaning they can actually permeate cells. Whereas anything synthetic, anything man-made, whether it be a drug or a product or anything like that, cannot. I mean, even antibiotics, if you're sick and your cell is infected with something, it's going to come and clean the outside of that cell. It cannot permeate the cell, where an essential oil can permeate it. So I'm not saying that essential oils should take the place of antibiotics, but I am saying, however, that when you're using oils consistently and proactively, that they can literally change your body on a cellular level. And this goes from a physical standpoint of really driving health and wellness, but also from an emotional standpoint when it comes to mood and feelings and working through some pretty heavy things. So there's three different ways to use essential oils, essentially. The first one being aromatically, and that is typically what most people are familiar with. I mean, I have, a diffuser going always, right? But that's inhaling. That's actually smelling something. So you can use a diffuser. You can actually take a bottle and huff it. You can put a drop in your hand and cup it around your face, however you want to, but it's inhaling and smelling an essential oil. But when you do that, it hits your limbic system within 22 seconds. And aromatherapy is the only way that you can reach your limbic system. There's not a drug that you can do that, right? And so your limbic system is where emotions are held, where your memories are held. Okay. Like the reason why you go in, Canadian Thanksgiving, right? You like walk in and you smell the baked apple pie, and it takes you to like grandma's house when you were 6, or you're walking in a mall and you smell Chanel No. 5 and you're like, Aunt Susan, where is she? Like it just like brings back those memories, triggers that's held in your limbic system. It's also where trauma is held, right? And really deep, heavy emotions like, extreme like sadness or fear, resentment, all of those things. So utilizing aromatherapy for that, again, as an entrepreneur or as a human is really, really important. And that's actually a way that I use oils in my entrepreneurial journey every single day. Like I reached for oils because it's like hourly, not just like yearly or daily. It's like hourly. We're like the ups and downs. And so for me, using it for calming, using ones like a lavender, or also like you mentioned, Valor is an amazing one to really be working on emotional blocks that you're getting over, especially if you're going into a big meeting where you're pitching something or trying to close a really big client or something along those lines. Like even before you hit, I was like, here's a roller ball with Valor. I was like, people I don't know are going to see me. Oh God, we're going to do this. It's fine. So it's a really good tool for that. Frankincense is also an amazing one. I know you and I talk about frankincense. That's one that emotionally really adds a ton of just kind of calming support to me. And if I feel like my heart rate elevating with like really extreme like anxiousness going into a situation, or I'm really upset about the outcome of the situation, putting a couple drops in my hands and inhaling, or putting it in a roller ball is definitely been like a huge help for me. So that's aromatherapy. Another way that you can use them is topically. So I just used one topically right there, right? Topically just means you're actually putting it on your skin. When you apply an essential oil, it is absorbed into your skin and into your bloodstream within 2 to 3 minutes, and it's touched every cell of your body within 20 to 25 minutes. So that's another reason why putting it on like pulse points, like your wrists or your back or the bottoms of your feet, is important, because they're vascular areas for your blood to really be pumping and getting it into your bloodstream as fast as possible. But that also is another reason why they're so useful, because, you know, anything you put on your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream within 2 to 3 minutes, not just oils. You and I also talk about this quite a bit. That means that any sort of products or perfume or laundry detergent or soaps or shampoos or anything that you're using that has synthetics or has ingredients on the back that you don't recognize, that aren't scented with essential oils, but in turn scented with a chemical, that's getting absorbed into your bloodstream and touching every cell in your body within 22 minutes as well. So that's a tangent for another day, though. So that's topical. And then the third way is internal. So this is unique to the brand that you and I use, which is Young Living. So I definitely have to preface that, because other than the Young Living brand, I would not suggest in any way taking any of these essential oils internally, because we can't speak to their purity, and just frankly, no company in the world has the purity that Young Living has. That's why we love them. But they can be used internally, meaning you can put a drop of lemon or peppermint in your water. You can put some drops in an empty veggie capsule and take it as a supplement, right? If you're trying to support, your immune system or specific systems within your body. I cook with my oils. I put peppermint and brownie mix and stuff like that. So it's a really great way to integrate them also, but a little bit different and outside of the norm. Yeah.
And when you
So
put it,
I don't know if that's what you were going for. Those were some tangents.
that was amazing. And no, but like, it always amazes me when I hear just like the science behind it and just the pure facts. Cause I mean, there's so much noise out there. So when you just like literally just break it down, in terms of 22 minutes, it hits every cell of your body. Like that stuff, like that's not made up. That's science.
No, it is it is. Those are facts. And I mean, even
Yeah.
going on to, obviously reach out to you or reach out to me directly if you want any sort of like scientific articles, but even using resources like PubMed.com, which is just essentially an online resource for published medical research and studies and documents and things along those lines. But if you just search like frankincense, you will be absolutely blown away. I mean, in the States, hospitals like Johns Hopkins is using frankincense in their cancer patients, not only for the cell regeneration physical properties and wellness that they're helping with, but then also the therapeutic benefits of calming and emotional and mood support for people that are going through things like chemotherapy, et cetera, and really needing that. So it's incredible once you start on the rabbit hole of research. But like we said, I mean, I think like with all of these things and with everything in life, I mean, again, as entrepreneurs, right? Like we probably all beat this drum in our own industries of saying like, not all companies are created equal, right? Like if you're a photographer, you're like, not all photographers are going to be created equal. Not all essential oils are created equal. And I know that personally because I used oils for probably about 4 years before switching to the Young Living brand that we were talking about. And it was an immediate difference. I mean, I was moving towards like skeptic versus advocate because they just really weren't working in the ways that I wanted them to work. And I had a friend suggest Young Living. I kind of did it mostly to prove her wrong because, again, Enneagram 7, wing 8, red, blue personality. Like, I like to prove people wrong. And they worked. And I was like, holy crap, now what? They worked. But it's really important that you're focused on purity and that you are using the best of the best, because you are putting this on your skin and probably your family's skin. And you want to make sure that the money's going towards something that works.
Yeah.
And you're not wasting it.
And something that's also good for like the environment when you think about what goes down the drain, and that's like a totally different tangent too.
Again, yes.
For hours.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that.
But, no, I love it.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Cause it's, I think it's important to talk, like, that's why I love your content, especially Ellie, cause it is all about just education. Right. And, I guess like, cause I talk about routines all the time, and I think this is just
so important.
I'm going to ask you, but, you know, do you have any routines that have helped you as an entrepreneur, or that, you know, you've come across? Because I know that you and I have mutual friends that have benefited from essential oils, but there's like there's such a big family that, you know, we're fortunate to have. But is there any you've heard that can really like benefit people that are listening in terms of ritual? And
no, 100%. And I think you nailed it with that. I mean, I think we can all agree that rituals, like as an actual like overarching thing, is so important, because it just kind of keeps us on track and focused, which again, as an entrepreneur, we can kind of be everywhere, or maybe that's just me. But with essential oils specifically, because they're not a drug, right? It really does take rituals and being proactive about using them, to also be seeing some of these really big gains. You know, it's not one of those things where you're going to apply some lavender and like unicorns start like popping out of like this guy, and you're like, why didn't somebody tell me? No, it's like, we got to use them over time a little bit here. So I definitely have a ton of rituals and use oils throughout my day for that. So one of my most important rituals is my morning routine, which you and I talk about our morning routine all the time. And that has kind of transformed not only the oils, but also just having a morning routine in general, because I definitely was not a morning person like my whole life until I really started waking up, you know, 30 minutes to an hour early, just so that I could have time for myself to drink coffee and really kind of focus on my day, and created a routine around that. But the oils that I use in the morning, every single morning, there's actually 4 of them right here by my desk, because it's literally what is grabbed every morning. And that is Valor, which we spoke about. Valor is amazing for just really getting the emotional and physical strength to work through your day and work through blocks. I apply Joy, which is important, really be focused on gratitude. We can agree too, as an entrepreneur, to get through some of those tough times. It's like, there's good in this. There's good in this. Promise. So being able to say at least 3 things every single morning that I'm grateful for, that I was grateful for from the day before, and using Joy to kind of help with that. Abundance. This is a blend of probably 7 or 8 different essential oils, and specifically has the frequency of abundance. And so I apply this every single morning, really focused on, from an abundance and opportunity standpoint, what I'm looking for in that day, what I want to accomplish, and what I'm asking the universe to deliver to me. And then the 4th thing is White Angelica, which is also a blend. This is definitely focused on kind of energetic well-being. I'm somebody naturally that really absorbs people's energies and frequencies, and they tend to cling to me and affect me much longer after they are removed from my physical space, which can be a bad thing, a negative thing, and kind of a draining thing on me. And so I apply a couple drops in the morning and just kind of almost like literally create a shield around me, and just ask that I don't absorb those energies and protect myself and my own energies about that. So that morning ritual has been kind of like transforming for me, for sure.
I love that.
Do you do anything in the morning with oils or anything like that?
So I do my lemon with water in the morning.
Yeah,
I
me as well.
I either do joy or gratitude. I actually have the gratitude oil. It's over
Yeah,
there. Is it here? Yeah, this one. I just got this recently.
yeah,
And then I just got the abundance as well. But sometimes I'll do lavender and peppermint and diffuse it in the morning because I find that it's calming, but it's also energizing with that.
100%. Yep. No,
Um,
I agree. And then in the evening, usually like my ritual in the evening is I use a blend called Release, just to kind of release any sort of, just release that day. I mean, good, bad, indifferent, just kind of say, all right, what happened today happened. It was a good day, no matter whether or not it was a good day or it was not. It was a good day. I'm going to release that. And also lavender, usually like a lavender or vetiver, something that just kind of is calming to my brain, because also usually entrepreneurs have a hard time shutting off their brain when we like, yeah, it's like, and now I'm going to think about everything that happened today. This is great. So being able to kind of calm my brain is really important. So I usually do that in the evening. But there's a lot of even small routines, like there's certain oils that I use to support my hormones. That is something that I do kind of like around lunchtime in the morning. I have them strategically placed so I can be grabbing them. I also put thieves oil on every single day, and everybody in my family gets thieves oil every day. Yep. To just keep us healthy, to boost our immune system, because ain't nobody got time for that. Mama has no time for anybody to get sick. Nobody can get sick here. So that is really important. Like everybody gets thieves. But yeah, it's just figuring out what works, but putting them strategically, like I said, around your house. If there's certain evening routines that you have, having them in your bathroom. If there's morning routines, having them next to your fridge or by your desk or wherever, your yoga mat, if you do yoga in the morning, like whatever it might be, just to make it really simple for you. But once you start stringing some days together, some weeks together, some months together, it really is incredible the difference that you feel. And that empowerment not only trickles into kind of what you're doing, getting comfortable with essential oils, but at least for me in my journey, I even look back at me starting these businesses and different things that I've done over the last year or so. And I can literally see that spark of really me taking control of my destiny, and just what I was doing and the path that I was on, being sparked by me taking control and empowering myself, starting with my health and wellness. Like it started there. And then I was like, I can do that. Like that wasn't that hard. And look, I did a little bit of research and it worked. And I wonder how I could change that. And then I wonder how I can change that. And then you're just putting one foot in front of the other. And next thing you know, you started a couple businesses and quit your corporate life, and we're good to go.
Certainly doesn't happen overnight, though. Hey, team.
No. I think it's been about 7 years. We're coming up on 7 years. So no, definitely not overnight, but
that's amazing.
Be careful. It's a slippery slope.
And I appreciate that honesty there, because like some people, they want that like immediate, oh, this is, if I start this business, I'm going to get like this in a month or whatever. And it's just, it's really about the journey and just the self-discovery. And I don't know if we mentioned it, but if you are using the oils topically, like it's always good to start off with having like the carrier oil,
Yep.
like, the coconut oil I love.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely a lot of little tips and
Yeah.
tricks and safety points, which obviously we didn't really get a ton into today because it was kind of more in the entrepreneurial journey. But this is what I love to do, and I know that you're doing as well. And that is just teaching people those basics, but then empowering them with the information so that then they can create their own path. You know, this again, because oils aren't drugs, it's not like going to a doctor and getting a one size fits all, like you're taking 3 of these a day for 2 weeks. No, it's, you might use 4 drops. I might use 2. You might use them once a day. I might use them 3. Like everybody's different. And so really it's about working with somebody like myself, somebody like yourself that can understand what the needs are, recommend those tools and kind of starting points, and then empower you with the information and resources so that you can just kind of be off to the races, you know? So we're here for that if you need it.
Building blocks. I'm just going to
exactly.
I'm just going to read out what Sakshi was saying. She said, loved it. Absolutely. Odors have a power of persuasion stronger than that of words, appearances, emotions, or will. As living is about capturing the essence of things, we need to allow things in our life which make our hearts sing, feed our soul, or nourish us on a daily basis, as I think happiness is a perfume which we cannot pour on others without getting on ourselves. Oh, Sakshi.
Yes, love it. Love it so much. And it's so, so true, you know?
Yeah. And then she says,
Yep.
every breath is a giveaway dance between us and the nature. In every walk in with nature, we receive more than we seek. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thanks for sharing that, Sakshi. And,
Yeah.
you know,
No, that's amazing.
just on that topic, like, Ellie, I know you had started a group a while ago
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to kind of not just oils, but some of the other stuff that has come up, like rituals and just health and wellness in general. Because like
Yeah,
you said, we're just talking about one tool here. There's
totally.
so much that we do to help us on our journeys
Yeah.
in our toolbox. So, do you want to talk to us just to finish us off, like about the group, where we can find out more?
Yeah, so I think it was maybe posted initially. I'm sure we'll post it in the comments for the group Essential Wellness, and that's a group that I started. Honestly, I probably started that about 3 years ago when I first got introduced to Young Living again, and like we're actually using oils for the first time, and they worked. And I was like, holy crap, I need to tell people. And I found myself like sending 30,000 text messages a day. I'm like, got to tell mom, got to tell Whitney, got to tell Lauren, got to tell, like, I'm texting all of these people. And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to start a group and I can like post about my findings. Cause like at that point it was like hourly and daily. Like I was using them and was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So anyway, so I started this group, just really in that group kind of had like 10 people that I invited that were like, you know, the people that I was texting like incessantly. But then it's just grown. I mean, I've shared, as you mentioned, a lot of things because again, with this journey, just like everything, our entrepreneurial journey, our journey as people, like it expands and changes and evolves. And so I'm posting about everything from, you know, essential oils to products, to meal planning and recipes, to my new houseplant obsession, to just little tips and rituals and tricks and just like things that are making a difference in my life or people around me life that have more of a kind of big picture, holistic, whole person viewpoint on really how we are taking care of ourselves. And now we have like 750 or so people in there, and definitely have built like a community of people that are sharing as well and supporting each other and just kind of like pulling in the same direction, sharing each other's tips and tricks. I mean, I learned from other people like you and in that group as much as people learn from me. So I try to make it not the Ellie show. I want like everybody post your stuff because I need to learn too. But yeah, definitely if you're not part of that group, just hit join on the link and myself or Nat will approve that because it isn't an open group. And we had decided on that just because we want to make sure that people are in there for the right reasons. They're not just kind of spamming random stuff, and that they're there to support and be positive lights and not trolls. So we decided to keep it a closed group. So just hit join and we'll make sure that we bring you into the family.
Yeah. Awesome, Ellie. I'm so happy you could come on and we could chat.
Yes, we've been meaning to do this forever. So I'm so happy that we finally did it.
And I'll definitely bring you on. And if you guys, want to hear about certain topics, like just reach out. But we'll definitely make sure that the link to that group is there. And Ellie, thank you so much again. It was just such a pleasure.
Yes.
We'll
miss you.
Soon. Yeah, miss you
All
too.
right.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a great one.
See ya.